Hey guys, my name is ZYMO and today I'll be showing you how to make dark, ambient, wavy melodies for Playboy Carti, Young Thug, or maybe even Gunna. So this is the sample that I made. It's at 145 BPM. I'll let you take a listen. So that's basically it. Then the rest of the sample is just the different sections dissected and split up. So the first thing we have are these chords. I'll let you listen to that. I'll show you how I made those. So this is the pattern that started the idea for the chords. As you can hear, that sounds nothing like the melody we actually fucking ended up using. But I'll show you how I made this and how it became what it became. I started off with these triads that I played on my MIDI controller. So I just played some random chords. And I knew those chords were good because they had that very dark tone and vibe to it. So I decided to use them. However, I wasn't very pleased with the way it sounded. So I just pitched the root notes. So the F, the D sharp, the C, and the C. Pitched it down. And this is what it sounds like now. After that, I wanted to give the melody some swing. So I added these top notes that were offset a bit. They're essentially the root notes. So if you take these up another octave, you can see that they're just offsetted. And this is how it sounds like so far. After that, I wanted to give it something more because that just sounds boring and not very enticing. So I just added another note on top of that note for all of them. And that's cool. That's cool. You know, it's decent. It's got more variety to it. And then I decided to add another top line to it. And that was sounding great. And then I just finished it off by adding another top line to it. Drag those across. So that's how it ended up sounding. Now, it's a good melody, however, it's not that dark. It's not as dark as I wanted it to be. So what I did is I added a halftime to it. And this is what it sounds like with halftime. That sounds way more darker. And then to top it all off, I reversed the sample. So this is just with halftime. And this is a sample with halftime and a reverse effect. So, and if I just unreverse that, it's basically the same thing. So that's how I did that. Then I wanted to add a nice top line melody over the chords. So I introduced these bells. And this is how it looks in the MIDI form. So essentially all it is, C, then another C, and then an F, and then a D sharp, and then it goes back to the C. So nothing too complicated, but it gives it that swing and that dark, eerie tone to it. So after I did that, the melody was sounding pretty good. However, it's just too simple. It's two sounds. I mean, it could work, but needs something more. So I added this synth to it. And all that is just a G going down to a F, a G going down to a F. So nothing too complicated. But as you can hear, if you add it all together, that just makes it way more darker. And then finally, I added a bass. Nothing too extravagant, very simple. Now, as you can hear, the melody overall is very simple, very simplistic, and it doesn't have much going on, but that gives more space for a rapper or an artist to just fill in that missing space that they should be filling in. So now to go over the effects, let's start with the chords. So for the chords, all I did was, well, like I always say, all I did, but I have a lot of fucking effects. So I had an EQ on it. This EQ, I just took out some of the lows, took out some of the highs, and took a bunch of high mids, low mids. Areas where there were a lot of problem frequencies, I just took them out. So let's disable everything. Let's go one by one. So this is how it sounds raw. And with the EQ, you can hear the lows being taken out. The highs are sort of taken out, and you can hear the low mids are kind of reduced. Then after that, I added a simple tape. Probably can't hear the tape, but it just gives it some nice texture, saturation, warmth. Then after that, I added a compressor. That was mainly to tame the second half of the chord progression, which goes from like quiet and dark and low to quite high. So I just wanted to tame that. Then after that, I added a wall control, which is basically just wall or flatter. You can barely hear it as well. And then after that, I added a reverb. Took the mix down to 10, pre-delay down to 5, 1.5 decay. Did the low cut and the high cut, so it wouldn't get muddy at both ends. That just gives it that dark tone and that spacey vibe. After that, put on a delay. Took the mix down pretty low, echo time at 1/8, feedback low as well, low cut, high cut, so it doesn't get muddy once again. And then I added a little radiator, and all that is just a preamp, just to thicken it out, give it some saturation. And that's the chords. Moving on to the bells. bells basically follow the same thing. EQ, took out some of the lows, took out some of the highs, some of the highs I did some frequency cuts, some of the mids I did frequency cuts, and yeah, that was essentially it. Since the bells were very focused in the high frequency range, so I just decided to tone them down a bit by making these cuts. That's off. On. You can barely hear a difference, but overall, in a mix, it's very distinguishable that those higher notes come through way more. Then I added a tape again, a well control, format as the other sound, and then a reverb once again. This time the mix is higher because I wanted the bells to stand out more compared to the chords or keys. Then I put a delay, same thing, mix pretty low, feedback pretty low, 1/8 delay, and then once again radiator to give it some saturation, some warmth, and that's the bells. Then for the synth, I don't think we did too much for the synth. It's just the exact same. Yeah, so low cut, high cut, some frequency cuts in the mids, tape, well control, reverb. Except this reverb, I cranked it to the max. I just wanted the synth to be in the background so it wouldn't overpower all the other sounds. So that's why the mix is high. Again, delay, little radiator. And then for the bass, nothing too crazy, just a bit of a low cut. Some cuts in the lows where the bass really peaked. And then all again, another little radiator to give it that warmth and saturation. And that's basically it for the sounds. And then for the final sample, all I added was a tape and an EQ for when you make a beat to give space for the low end for the 808 to hit. And that's the sample. And this is how it sounds like with the drums. I'll let you listen to that. And that's that. By the way, those drums weren't mixed, so they weren't leveled or they weren't EQ'd or compressed or anything. And yeah, that's it. Hopefully you guys learned something. Leave a like, comment, subscribe for more videos. I'm going to be trying to put out a video each week about different melodies or different ideas you guys want me to do. If there's anything you want me to improve upon or you don't like seeing the videos, just let me know in the comments. And yeah, follow my Insta at Simon Beats. And that's going to be all. See you guys next time.